there are tournaments taking place in Pokemon TCG Pocket with in so-called interesting format where EX Pokemon are actually not allowed. So let's go over some decklists that saw some success in this tournament. Starting off with this Duck Trio list that you see on your screen right now. There are multiple versions of this, but this is the list that saw the most success and it took 5th place. Yeah, it's very straightforward. It's a flip deck and you basically just pray to hit as much heads with Duck Trio as you happen to get. If you get lucky, your opponent has pretty much no counterplay, but you only do 40 damage each turn, and you are bound to happen to hit some tails, and then you get annihilated with just 70 HP. So this deck is very inconsistent, but if it works, it can be quite unfair. But yeah, as I mentioned, you only do 40 damage. You will have to hit so many heads that you are bound to hit tails. It won't happen. You won't hit as much heads as you need because you simply deal 2 less damage. It's not enough, and that's why this list is pretty inconsistent, and only, quote unquote, only took 5th place. This is better than you would expect, and that's why I wanted to show you this list. Next up, we have this Greninja Golduck deck list that took 4th place. And this is made, again, to be really fast. You deal a lot of early damage with Golduck, and you set up a Greninja on your bench, hopefully 2, as fast as possible to deal 20 extra damage each turn. And you can even choose where this 20 damage goes, but if you get it up, you have 90 damage per turn with Golduck and Greninja. 1 Greninja. If you have 2, then it's even better. So you can't only have Psyduck and Golduck for the early game. That's not enough. So you slide in a Staryu Starmie. Non-EX, of course, EX Pokemon are banned, remember. And that's all there is to it. You deal early damage with Golduck, you set up Greninja on the bench. Hopefully you get a Greninja really fast. This deck list is much more consistent and even faster than the Duck Trio list, so it made 4th place instead of the 5th place. Makes total sense if you ask me. But let's move on to this Primeape Sand/list. This took 3rd place. I just wanted to show you this real quick because this is one version of the deck, but 2nd place actually played a better list that is very similar to this. So let's just take a glance at this, but move on to a better version of this deck that took 2nd place. And here we have it. It's a Machamp deck list, and this list just makes much more sense. You have Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan to spread early damage, Hitmonchan if you want to hit the active, Hitmonlee if you want to hit the bench. And you spread damage with these 2 while you set up the Machamp on the bench, and if you spread enough damage and your Machamp is ready, you bring him in to get KOs. This makes perfect sense. This is not bad, and that's why it took 2nd place. And here we have it. It's a Machamp deck list, and this list just makes much more sense. You have Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan to spread early damage, Hitmonchan if you want to hit the active, Hitmonlee if you want to hit the bench. And you spread damage with these 2 while you set up the Machamp on the bench, and if you spread enough damage and your Machamp is ready, you bring him in to get KOs. This makes perfect sense. This is not bad, and that's why it took second place. And with this being said, we have covered place 2 to 5. But yeah, if you watch my channel, you already know which deck will be the best in this format by far, and which decklist took first place. And that's a decklist that, of course, obviously evolves around Ninetales. If you watched my meta breakdowns and my tier list, this comes at no surprise and is very obvious, and it makes perfect sense. So let's take a look at it. And here it is. This is one version of the deck. First of all, you can ditch like a red card to put in a Farfetch'd, or ditch an additional Sabrina to play 2 Farfetch'd in this deck, because Farfetch'd makes a lot of sense. It's a very good starter. It's a better starter than like a Vulpix or Ponyta, and it deals 40 damage for 1 energy, which is easily set up for 1 energy. It is a good starter, so this is a possibility that you can do. But let's talk about this deck list real quick. So normally you would play an Arcanine EX and a Moltres EX in this deck. But yeah, those two have to be replaced, because in this format that we are talking about right here, EX Pokemon are not allowed. And we replace Arcanine with Rapidash, and we replace Moltres EX with a Farfetch'd if we want. I would actually recommend it. And that's pretty much already about it. So whenever you attack with Ninetales, you have to discard a fire energy from Ninetales. And normally we use Moltres EX to be able to make that happen, to attach a lot of energy to this Ninetales, so we are free next turn to attach energy to set up an Arcanine. But in this format we don't have the luxury of having a Moltres, so we would not be able to set up something on the bench that needs a lot of energy. And that's where Rapidash and Farfetch'd come in. They are both free setups, they only need 1 energy, they are fast, they deal 40 damage for just 1 energy. So setting them up is absolutely no problem. Additionally, Rapidash is the perfect option we have, because it can profit from Blaine. Blaine makes it so that it deals 30 more damage this turn, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, the reason why this deck took first place is because it makes, not only does it make use of the strongest mechanic in the game, which is dealing 90 damage for just 2 energy, but it is very consistent, very fast, very strong, thanks to Blaine. It even has a Giovanni, and yeah, nothing can keep up with this kind of speed. And yeah, again, I can only repeat myself, if you watched my channel, you could have easily predicted this. Of course, this is the only deck in this format that makes use of the strongest mechanic in the game. Of course it's gonna win the tournament, right? Ninetales is the only non-EX Pokemon in the game that deals 90 damage for 2 energy, and that's about it. If there are no EX Pokemon, nothing can keep up with this speed, and that's why it's superior compared to everything else. There was an obvious winner. Here's the deck list for you. I hope that was fun and informative, and until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, and bye bye.